The Dallas Mavericks get their fourth win in their last 5 games by defeating the Atlanta Hawks 118-117. Kevin Gray of 105.3 The Fan. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button right there for Kevin Gray Sports. I appreciate everyone subscribing to the YouTube channel. The Dallas Mavericks win their third straight game at the American Airlines Center, get a huge fourth quarter from Tim Hardaway and Jalen Brunson as they combine for 24 points in the deciding fourth quarter as they outscore the Atlanta Hawks 37-27 in the decisive period. Trae Young was not happy at the end of the basketball game, thought he got fouled on a screen that was set by another player, Willie Cauley-Stein running him over, but at the same time, referees did not think it was a foul at the end of the game. Trae Young, furious that the referees had a lot to say, but to no avail as the Dallas Mavericks win their fourth game in their last 5. Luka Doncic goes for a triple-double, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Tim Hardaway Jr. had another fantastic game, especially in the fourth quarter where he scored the first 7 points for the Dallas Mavericks to get them back into the basketball game. The Mavericks were down 9 headed into the fourth quarter. Tim Hardaway, at the behest of assistant coach Jenny Busick, we found out after the game from Coach Rick Carlisle, wanted to get Tim Hardaway going. They ran a play for him, knocks down a 3, and the Mavericks were off to the races from there. They were able to tie it at 101. And then 2 threes by Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson pushed the lead to 107-101, and the Mavericks did not look back from there in getting the 118-117 win. I asked Luka Doncic after the game about Tim Hardaway's contribution to this game, especially those 13 fourth-quarter points that he had. Here's what Luka Doncic had to say about Tim Hardaway and his big fourth quarter for this Mavericks team.
Hey, Luka, talk about Tim Hardaway's performance tonight, especially in that fourth quarter, scoring the first 7 points, and what it did to galvanize you guys and get you guys going in the fourth quarter there.
I think he got us going, At the beginning of the fourth quarter, he was going great. He was a really hot player. And he got us going with the energy, with the effort, and I think thanks to that, we won the game.
So Luka Doncic saying this is what won them the game was Tim Hardaway's performance, especially in the fourth quarter. At one point, this Mavericks team throughout the game was shooting 7 of 23 from the three-point line. In the fourth quarter alone, they go 7 of 9 from downtown to finish 14 of 35 from the three-point line, a 40% clip, as they were able to score 37 points and hold the Atlanta Hawks to 27 points in a great fourth quarter performance, especially on the defensive end from guys like Willie Cauley-Stein. Willie Cauley-Stein in this basketball game, who had 23 minutes played, 14.6 rebounds, had not played in the previous 2 games for the Dallas Mavericks, came in off the bench and had a really nice game for them on both ends of the floor, was rim running, catching lobs and dunks from Luka Doncic on the defensive end, providing energy, rebounding, and shot blocking and rim protection. Willie Cauley-Stein played a really good game for this Mavericks team, and they needed it, and he was awarded the Defensive Player of the Game, of course, which the Mavericks hand out in wins only. Willie Cauley-Stein was able to win the Defensive Player of the Game. I asked Willie Cauley-Stein about winning that Defensive Player of the Game, what it means for his confidence, and he continuing to bring the energy and fire for this team, especially off the bench and staying ready. Here's what Willie Cauley-Stein had to say after the game.
Willie winning the Defensive Player of the Game award tonight, what does that mean to you, not just from obviously winning the award itself, but from a confidence standpoint, knowing that you bringing that energy and defensive presence is something that you can continue to do each night?
I mean, just like winning, you know what I mean? Like I'll do anything to try to get our team to win. Like whether it's scoring points, blocking shots, going to the dunker, and just getting spaces. Like it don't matter what I have to do. And I'll literally do anything. So like to that is just I'm going out there to play as hard as I can. And just keep the space and keep the ball moving and make plays when it comes my way. Other than that, just try to keep it simple.
So Willie Cauley-Stein saying it takes everything and anything on his part to win basketball games, and that's exactly what he did and provided the kind of energy, desire, and passion, and most of all, consistency on both ends of the floor, despite not having played the last 2 games, to really help out this Mavericks basketball team. And speaking of consistency, Jalen Brunson has been one of the most consistent Mavs players on this team this season, going 9 of 18 from the field. He had 21 points, 11 big fourth-quarter points for him as he continues to put himself in the conversation as one of the most consistent Mavs on this team, a team that is now 12 and 14 on the year, starting to find its stride by beating teams, the ones that they're supposed to, while gaining confidence about their psyche, about what it means to win basketball games. I asked Jalen Brunson after the game about his comments that he had about sticking together, that it not being about themselves, and what those comments specifically mean, and when that team for the Mavericks realized that that was something they needed to take on as a mantra. Here is what Jalen Brunson had to say after the game.
Good evening, Jalen. You said after the game, we're coming together. There's no more individuals. We're not really worried about ourselves. What do you mean by that specifically, and when did that moment start to galvanize for you and the rest of the team about that kind of a statement you made after the game?
It's when we went on that losing streak, guys are just thinking, what can I do individually? Like, what can I do for me personally? I think it's a trait that teams that lose, that's their mentality. I think for us, we fell into that a little bit. I mean, it's not a bad thing, it happens. But once we kind of realized what was going on, we all kind of just said, all right, let's come together. Let's be a team. Let's focus on each other. Let's focus on the things that are going to help us be successful together. And we're starting to get this train rolling, and just happy we got this win. We're going to keep it going.
So Jalen Brunson, understanding when this team was in the midst of its 6-game losing streak, they had to make a decision to stay together and come together and to galvanize around one another to give them an opportunity to come out of the losing streak that they were on, but more importantly, start to play more consistent basketball that was playing about being together for them. You saw a lot of ball movement in this basketball game, the team sharing the basketball. This team wound up having 25 assists on 43 made field goals. But more importantly, the togetherness was especially seen in the fourth quarter. They were much more tied together defensively, holding the Atlanta Hawks to 27 points, their lowest total scoring quarter of the game with those 27 points in the fourth quarter. And a lot of that had to do with their ability to get stops when they needed to. We've talked about this before with this team. This team is going to have to outlast teams with respect to not only them scoring the basketball, but more importantly, being able to get defensive stops when they needed to. That's exactly what happened in the fourth quarter. John Collins, who went off in this basketball game for another 33 points after having 35 in the first game in Atlanta against the Dallas Mavericks, in a win that the Mavericks were able to get on the road. John Collins has been a killer for the Dallas Mavericks, but they held him to 2 of 7 in the fourth quarter, that decisive fourth quarter, and again got stops when they needed to. And this is a team that has to realize what they are. This is a team that's still not very good defensively, but can get stops when they need to. And now that their scoring is starting to come around, especially shooting better from the three-point line, shooting 40% from downtown in this game, as the shooting continues to improve for this Dallas Mavericks basketball team, their confidence continues to grow on the offensive end in a game where they had 6 guys in double figures, including Kristaps Porzingis, who had 15 points, only played 19 minutes of this game, including only 3 minutes in the fourth quarter alone. A lineup that saw guys like Tim Hardaway, Willie Cauley-Stein, Luka Doncic, and others finish out the fourth quarter in the basketball game. Kristaps Porzingis wasn't necessarily needed in the fourth quarter given the lineup and how good it was playing for the Dallas Mavericks, but he still was in double figures. Kristaps Porzingis, Luka Doncic, Josh Richardson, who had 10 points in this game, also had 5 assists. You had Tim Hardaway with the 16, Willie Cauley-Stein with 14, and then, of course, Jalen Brunson with the 21 points that he had in this basketball game. Contributions from every single person on this team, especially those 6 individuals, and the way that they played throughout this season. I asked Rick Carlisle after the game with respect to how he felt about Jalen Brunson's performance, given the nature of how he has continued to stay ready, and especially Cook and Trae Young in that fourth quarter. Here's what Rick Carlisle had to say about Jalen Brunson's performance after this basketball game.
Hey, Coach, Jalen Brunson in that fourth quarter, 11 points. Talk about his performance, especially in that fourth quarter, how big he was for you guys.
Yeah, Brunson was terrific. A great player like Young is a guy you got to put pressure on defensively. you know, just to try to wear him down a little bit. And Jalen did a great job attacking him. He made some pretty difficult shots, but they were shots that were much needed and they were in the flow of the game. I thought Brunson had one of his best games of the year. Now, you know, statistically, you know, he had a 30-point game earlier and this, that, and the other, but, you know, the 21 that he had tonight on 9 for 18, you know, this was very, very timely. And he just got a really good overall feel for the game, and he's able to attack a guy like Young without disrupting what the team's trying to do and without it turning into an all-out ISO game, which is something that screws most teams up.
So obviously Rick Carlisle happy with the performance of Jalen Brunson, his ability to take advantage of Trae Young, especially on the offensive end of the basketball. The variety of shot making that Jalen Brunson had throughout this basketball game, hitting tough shots throughout this game, gave the Mavericks a lot of confidence. And we've talked about Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway Jr., who at times has been maligned this season for his hot and cold streaks throughout this season. And this game provided the spark once again, staying ready as a stay-ready all-star that he is, and was able to come in the fourth quarter and really give this Mavericks team the boost that they needed. It was an uneven first 3 quarters of this basketball game, but the Dallas Mavericks put down the defensive clamps that they needed to, holding them to 27 points. Earlier in this basketball game, the Mavericks only scored 19 points in the second quarter, one of their lowest point totals in the second quarter all season long. But at the same time, they stayed with it. They did not give up. They did not quit in this basketball game where they could have easily done so after the Atlanta Hawks had taken an early lead at halftime when they were up 62-52 when they were up by 10 at the half. The Mavericks came back, did not quit in this basketball game, and was able to put themselves in position, especially going into the fourth quarter, to stay within striking distance. They got the lead down to 9 heading into the fourth quarter, stay within striking distance, and all of a sudden Tim Hardaway comes off the bench and puts it all together for the Dallas Mavericks. An important and critical win for a basketball team that is still trying to get itself to 500. They are now 12-14 on the season. This team also was able to put down the clamps on the Atlanta Hawks defensively, especially in the fourth quarter. A team that appears to be finding its stride, beating the opponents that it needs to, but more importantly, confidence growing for the Dallas Mavericks as far as their play is concerned. Understanding what their identity is, getting back to more consistent shot making, especially from downtown, but more importantly, a team that can get stops when it needs to, and it proved it once again in this game against the Atlanta Hawks. So now the Dallas Mavericks have won 4 out of their last 5 ball games, 3 straight now inside the American Airlines Center. They will welcome in Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans on Friday as they continue their homestand for the Dallas Mavericks. But again, confidence growing for this team, a team that had a lot of expectations for itself going into this year, a lot of expectations put on itself going into this year, and what they've been through this week with the national anthem and all the things that have come with that with Mark Cuban and this franchise. This team focused on the court, got an important win, and now continue to build the momentum that they need to stay the course and continue to move forward in a long season. The Dallas Mavericks get a 117 win over the Atlanta Hawks, their 4th win in their last 5 games, 3 straight now at the American Airlines Center. On Friday, they welcome in Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans. I will be here at the American Airlines Center. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for Kevin Gray Sports right here on YouTube. This has been The Gray Area. We'll talk to you later. Peace.